In the vast silence of space, humanity's greatest discovery became its worst nightmare. What seemed like a routine mission to explore a distant planet turned into a fight for survival when an alien virus began spreading across the galaxy. This is not just another outbreak. It's an invasion disguised as a plague. As Earth falls victim to this horrifying contagion, a team of brave astronauts must unravel the truth behind the extraterrestrial threat and find a way to stop it before all life is lost. But time is running out, and every step closer to the cure brings them face to face with unimaginable horrors. Will they succeed, or will the universe be consumed by the undead? Hit subscribe now to uncover the chilling story of Zombie Cosmos, the alien plague invasion. The stars shimmered brightly against the endless black canvas of space, their light undisturbed by the chaos that would soon engulf humanity. On board the interstellar vessel, Stellar Vanguard Dash, Captain Elena Reyes stared at the holographic map projected before her. Her crew had been sent on what was supposed to be a simple reconnaissance mission to investigate unusual energy signatures emanating from a remote asteroid belt near Proxima Centauri. Little did they know, this journey would lead them straight into the heart of an otherworldly catastrophe. The ship hummed softly as it drifted through the void, its advanced propulsion system slicing effortlessly through the vacuum. Inside, the air was thick with anticipation. Each member of the six-person crew knew the stakes were high, but none could have predicted the horrors awaiting them. They had encountered strange phenomena during their travels, cosmic anomalies, unexplained signals, but nothing prepared them for the sight of the glowing green meteorite embedded in the surface of a desolate moon. Its surface pulsed faintly, as though alive, and emitted a low-frequency hum that resonated deep within their bones. It was beautiful, mesmerizing, and utterly alien. As the science officer analyzed samples taken from the meteorite, the first signs of trouble emerged. One of the lab drones malfunctioned, spilling a viscous green liquid onto the floor. Within minutes, the substance began to move, slithering toward the nearest human presence like a living organism. Before anyone could react, it latched onto the leg of one of the engineers, seeping through his suit and into his bloodstream. He screamed, a sound that echoed through the corridors of the ship and lodged itself firmly in the minds of everyone who heard it. By the time they reached him, his eyes had turned milky white, and his movements were jerky, unnatural. The transformation was swift, violent, and irreversible. News of the incident spread quickly among the crew, casting a pall over the once hopeful expedition. The infected engineer, whose name was Marcus, became the subject of intense scrutiny. His condition deteriorated rapidly, his body contorting in ways that defied biology. At first, he exhibited symptoms akin to rabies, aggression, heightened strength, and an insatiable hunger. But soon, something far more sinister took hold. His consciousness seemed to vanish entirely, replaced by a primal instinct to attack and infect others. When he lunged at a fellow crew member, the decision was made to isolate him in the medical bay. Dr. Lin Mei, the ship's chief medical officer, worked tirelessly to understand the nature of the infection. Under her microscope, the alien pathogen revealed itself to be unlike anything she had ever seen. It wasn't a bacterium or a virus in the traditional sense. Rather, it appeared to be a self-replicating nanobiological entity capable of rewriting DNA on a cellular level. The implications were staggering. If left unchecked, this contagion could spread beyond the confines of the ship and reach Earth, where billions of lives hung precariously in the balance. Meanwhile, outside the ship, the source of the infection loomed large. The meteorite continued to pulse rhythmically, almost tauntingly, as if aware of the chaos it had unleashed. Closer inspection revealed intricate patterns etched into its surface, symbols that glowed faintly under ultraviolet light. These markings suggested intelligence, perhaps even purpose. Was the meteorite merely a carrier, or was it a weapon designed specifically to target sentient beings? The question haunted the crew, fueling both their curiosity and their fear. Back on Earth, reports of similar outbreaks began trickling in. Remote colonies on Mars and Europa reported cases of individuals exhibiting symptoms identical to those observed aboard the Stellar Vanguard Dash. Panic set in as governments scrambled to contain the growing crisis. Quarantine zones were established, but the infection proved impossible to control. Those afflicted became relentless predators, driven solely by the urge to spread the disease. Entire cities fell silent as the undead horde swept through, leaving devastation in its wake. For the crew of the Stellar Vanguard Dash, these developments hit close to home. Many had families back on Earth, loved ones who were now at risk of succumbing to the same fate as Marcus. Guilt gnawed at them, compounded by the knowledge that they might have inadvertently brought the contagion to humanity. Yet there was no time for despair. Their mission had shifted from exploration to survival, and the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on their shoulders. Captain Reyes called an emergency meeting to discuss their options. The mood in the room was somber, each person grappling with the enormity of the task ahead. Some argued for immediate evacuation back to Earth, hoping to warn authorities and assist in containment efforts. Others believed they should stay and study the meteorite further, convinced that understanding its origins held the key to stopping the epidemic. Ultimately, consensus was reached. They would split their resources, sending half the crew back to Earth while the rest remained to investigate the alien artifact. The division of the crew marked a turning point in their journey. Those returning to Earth faced the daunting prospect of navigating a planet already overrun by the infected. Armed with limited supplies and rudimentary weapons, they braced themselves for the horrors that awaited. Meanwhile, the remaining members of the Stellar Vanguard focused their efforts on deciphering the secrets of the meteorite. Dr. Lin May led the charge, her determination unwavering despite the mounting odds. She hypothesized that the alien symbols etched into the meteorite's surface held clues to its function. Using advanced imaging technology, she painstakingly mapped each marking, searching for patterns or repetitions. Slowly but surely, a message began to emerge, a warning, perhaps, or instructions meant for those intelligent enough to decode them. Simultaneously, the engineering team worked to fortify the ship against potential breaches. With Marcus still locked away in the medical bay, paranoia ran rampant. Every sound, every shadow, triggered alarms in their minds. Sleep became a luxury few dared indulge in, and the constant vigilance took a toll on their mental health. Tensions flared, tempers snapped, and trust grew fragile. Yet amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope persisted. If they could unlock the mysteries of the meteorite, they might stand a chance of reversing the effects of the infection, or at least halting its spread. On Earth, the situation grew increasingly dire. Major metropolitan areas lay in ruins, their streets overrun by shambling figures devoid of reason. Survivors banded together in makeshift shelters, clinging to the hope that help would arrive. Rumors spread of military intervention, experimental cures, and even divine intervention, but none offered solace in the face of overwhelming despair. The returning crew members found themselves thrust into the fray, their arrival met with equal parts relief and suspicion. Who were these strangers, descending from the stars just as the world teetered on the brink of collapse? Were they saviors or harbingers of doom? Initial hostility gave way to reluctant cooperation as the newcomers shared their knowledge of the alien pathogen. Together, they devised strategies to combat the infection, relying on ingenuity and sheer willpower to survive. Meanwhile, aboard the Stellar Vanguard Dash, progress came at a cost. Dr. Lin May's research yielded promising results, but the strain of prolonged isolation began to wear on her. Hallucinations plagued her waking hours, visions of shadowy figures whispering cryptic messages in languages she couldn't understand. Whether these experiences stemmed from exhaustion or exposure to the alien artifact remained unclear, but they added another layer of complexity to an already fraught situation. As days stretched into weeks, the crew's resolve was tested like never before. Supplies dwindled, morale plummeted, and the specter of failure loomed large. Yet amid the darkness, moments of triumph shone brightly. Dr. Lin May finally cracked the code embedded in the meteorite symbols, uncovering a sequence of instructions that hinted at a possible antidote. The process was complex, requiring materials and expertise far beyond their current capabilities, but it represented a lifeline, a chance to turn the tide in humanity's favor. Word of this breakthrough reached Earth via a secure transmission, reigniting hope among the scattered remnants of civilization. Efforts intensified to gather the necessary components. with teams venturing into hostile territory to retrieve rare minerals and chemicals. Each mission carried immense risk, yet the promise of salvation spurred them onward. Aboard this stellar Vanguard dash, preparations for synthesizing the antidote commenced. The engineering team repurposed equipment, transforming the ship into a makeshift laboratory. Every available hand pitched in, working around the clock to bring the project to fruition. Despite the grueling pace, camaraderie blossomed, forged in the crucible of adversity. Yet even as progress was made, setbacks threatened to derail everything. Back on Earth, supply runs encountered fierce resistance from hordes of infected, resulting in heavy casualties. Morale wavered, and dissent brewed among survivors. Questions arose about the feasibility of the antidote, doubts fueled by desperation and fatigue. Could such a solution truly exist, or were they chasing a mirage born of desperation? Aboard the stellar Vanguard dash, tensions reached a boiling point. Conflicts erupted over resource allocation, leadership decisions, and the ethical implications of experimenting with the alien pathogen. Trust fractured, alliances shifted, and the unity that had sustained them thus far began to crumble. Captain Reyes found herself caught between conflicting priorities, torn between maintaining order and pushing forward with the mission. Despite these challenges, work on the antidote continued. Dr. Lin May poured every ounce of her energy into perfecting the formula, driven by a singular purpose: to save humanity from extinction. Her dedication inspired others to persevere, even as the odds stacked higher against them. The breakthrough came unexpectedly, a spark of brilliance amidst the gloom. Through trial and error, Dr. Lin May discovered a method to neutralize the alien pathogen using a combination of synthesized compounds derived from the meteorite itself. The implications were profound. Not only could the antidote halt the infection, but it also held the potential to reverse its effects, restoring sanity, and possibly life, to those already lost. News of this development electrified both the crew and the survivors on Earth. For the first time since the outbreak began, optimism surged. Plans were drawn up for mass production and distribution of the antidote, with volunteers stepping forward to assist in its dissemination. Hope, fragile though it was, flickered anew. However, implementing these plans proved easier said than done. Manufacturing the antidote required precise conditions and specialized equipment, neither of which were readily available in the post-apocalyptic landscape. Resource scarcity forced difficult choices, pitting factions against one another in a bid to secure vital materials. Violence erupted, threatening to undo the fragile coalition that had formed in pursuit of a common goal. Amidst the turmoil, a new threat emerged. Intelligence reports indicated that the alien mothership responsible for seeding the meteorites had entered Earth's orbit. Observations suggested it was actively monitoring the planet, perhaps assessing the success of its biological weapon. Fear gripped the population, fueling speculation about an impending full-scale invasion. Captain Reyes convened an emergency council to address the situation. Options were limited, but one course of action stood out: launch a preemptive strike against the mothership. It was a gamble, fraught with uncertainty and danger, but it offered the best chance of neutralizing the alien threat before it escalated further. Preparations for the assault were swift and meticulous. Volunteers from both Earth and the stellar Vanguard assembled a fleet of retrofitted spacecraft, arming them with whatever weapons they could scavenge. Pilots trained tirelessly, honing their skills for the battle ahead. Though fear lingered in their hearts, determination burned brighter. The day of reckoning arrived, dawn breaking over a scarred and battered world. As the fleet ascended into the heavens, cheers erupted from below, a defiant roar of defiance against the encroaching darkness. High above, the alien mothership loomed menacingly, its sleek design exuding an aura of malevolent intelligence. Engagement was swift and brutal. Laser fire illuminated the void, streaks of light cutting through the silence of space. The alien craft retaliated with devastating force, unleashing waves of drones and plasma projectiles. Casualties mounted, but the human forces pressed on, driven by desperation and resolve. Inside the mothership, boarding parties fought their way through labyrinthine corridors, encountering automated defenses and grotesque bioengineered monstrosities. Each step closer to the command center exacted a heavy toll, yet the mission remained clear: destroy the source of the infection and end the alien menace once and for all. At the heart of the mothership, the truth was revealed. The aliens, an ancient race known as the Zytherians, viewed humanity as a blight upon the cosmos. Their intent was not conquest but eradication, justified by centuries of observing Earth's destructive tendencies. The virus was merely a tool, a means to cleanse the galaxy of what they deemed an existential threat. Faced with this revelation, the human forces hesitated. Could they blame the Zytherians for their actions, given humanity's own history of violence and exploitation? Yet the moral quandary was short-lived. Survival outweighed philosophy, and the decision was made to proceed with the assault. Explosions rocked the mothership as charges were planted throughout its core. Escape pods launched en masse, carrying the remaining crew to safety. Behind them, the alien vessel imploded in a spectacular display of light and energy, its destruction signaling the end of the Zytherian campaign. With the mothership gone, the tide began to turn. The flow of infected slowed, and isolated pockets of resistance gained ground. Distribution of the antidote accelerated, bringing relief to countless communities. Slowly but surely, the planet began to heal. Yet scars remained, both physical and psychological. Cities lay in ruins, economies collapsed, and millions mourned the loss of loved ones. Rebuilding would take generations, and the memory of the alien invasion would haunt humanity for centuries to come. Aboard the Stellar Vanguard Dash, the surviving crew reflected on their journey. They had faced unimaginable horrors and emerged victorious, but at great cost. Bonds forged in the crucible of war endured, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the aftermath, questions lingered. Had the Zytherians acted alone? Or were they part of a larger galactic alliance? What other threats lurked in the depths of space, waiting to challenge humanity's place among the stars? These uncertainties underscored the need for vigilance, prompting renewed investment in space exploration and defense technologies. Earth's governments united under a single banner, pooling resources to safeguard against future invasions. Space stations equipped with advanced weaponry orbited the planet, serving as a deterrent to any who dared threaten humanity again. Meanwhile, scientists continued to study the remnants of the Zytherian technology, seeking to unlock its secrets and harness its power for the betterment of mankind. The lessons learned from the invasion shaped a new era of cooperation and innovation, driving humanity toward a brighter future. Years passed, and the story of the alien plague became legend. Tales of bravery and sacrifice inspired generations, reminding them of the fragility of existence and the importance of unity. Monuments were erected in honor of those who had fallen, their names etched into history alongside the heroes of old. Yet the cosmos remained vast and mysterious, its secrets hidden behind veils of darkness. Exploration resumed, with missions venturing farther than ever before. Each discovery brought wonder and awe, reaffirming humanity's place in the universe. Among the stars, the legacy of the Stellar Vanguard endured. Its crew, now celebrated as pioneers and protectors, dedicated their lives to ensuring that no such tragedy would befall humanity again. Their courage served as a beacon of hope, guiding future explorers through the unknown. And so, the saga of the alien plague came to an end, but the journey of humanity was far from over. In the infinite expanse of space, new challenges awaited, each one a test of strength, ingenuity, and resolve. The lessons of the past guided them forward, shaping a destiny defined not by fear, but by hope. As you reflect on this tale of survival and sacrifice, remember that the stars hold both beauty and danger. Humanity's greatest triumphs often arise from its darkest hours, and the spirit of exploration burns eternal. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit subscribe for more thrilling adventures from the depths of the cosmos. Until next time, keep looking to the skies.